All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the January meeting of the Family Communications Committee. Our agenda for the evening is a welcome, a roll call, chair transition, member introductions, meeting schedule, a roundtable, a format and review of committee goals, a website review, correspondence, and then adjournment. So we've got a packed agenda this evening. We are welcoming a new board member to our committee, Ms. Stephanie Craybill, and we will talk about that when we get to the chair transition. So welcome, Happy New Year. I hope everyone has had a good January thus far. 2021 is hopefully starting out on a more positive note. So we're getting there this year. So let's just go through, and I think I have my listing of everybody here, but can we do a quick roll call? Does anybody have that right in front of them?
I do.
Oh.
I basically just did it while
Okay.
we were waiting. But do you want me just to call out the names or tell you who I think is missing?
Just go ahead and call out the names, and people can just say that they're here.
Please. Okay, Catherine, no.
Loke.
Cynthia, yes. Caress, yes. Anne, yes. Beth Johnson, I have as a no. Katie Barcelo, no. Allison, yes. Stephanie Adams, yes. Brandon Shope, yes. Oh, wait a minute, yes. No, he said he's a no. I was just looking.
No, Brandon, he's got a screen up here.
I'm here. I'm here.
Yes,
ma'am.
Okay,
hey, how are you?
Brandon is yes. Sorry, Brandon. I thought I saw you. Okay, Stephanie threw me off.
Okay.
Tiffany, yes. Sonia, yes. Dolores, yes. Bernice, yes. Chase, no. Kate, yes. Dawn Brinson, no. And Stephanie Craybill, yes. Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
And then what about the never mind. Good.
Okay. All right. So that brings us to item 3 on the agenda, which is chair transition. And as you know, in November, we had an election, and in December, we welcomed 4 new board members to the Board of Education. And when our new board members came in, we mixed up some of our committees because we had to replace some seats. As you know, Ms. Nichols served on this committee for the past 18 months. And we miss her dearly, but we had to fill that seat. And so we have welcomed Ms. Stephanie Craybill will be taking over for Jeanette's position, but not only just as Jeanette's position, but also as the chair of this committee. As you may or may not know, I was elected by the board to serve as chair this year, and that comes with a longer list of duties than a just regular chairperson, or excuse me, regular board member. And so I absolutely love what this committee does. I love being a part of it. And I did not want to abdicate this seat, but I definitely want to continue to be a part of the work that's being done. But I felt that Stephanie Craybill, who has extensive experience within our system over the years, I think she knows almost everyone on this Zoom in one way or another, whether it's being a parent, whether it's being in the PTA or in one of the different committees that she has served on over the years. So we're very excited to welcome her. And I am actually going to turn the agenda over to her for the remainder of the meeting as our new chair. So Stephanie.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie Adams, from Stephanie Craybill. I just want to say, yeah, I am so glad to be on this committee. And again, like I was telling Dolores, like full circle, that communications is my passion. And I think I've worked with many of you over the course of, the time that my kids have been in school since the late 90s. And I just feel like you almost can't ever over communicate, that the as much information that we can get out to people in a format that's good and suitable, for them, the better off we are. So I'm really looking forward to working with everybody. And I'm just and if you would indulge me for just a few minutes, if we could go like down the list, and just if you could tell me just a little bit about yourself. Do you have are you a parent? Are you a school system person, community person, any group that you might be sort of representing? That would really help me out a lot to know where we are. Because I just want to make sure that our team, and I know Stephanie's been doing this forever, and it's really hard with people's schedules, but I just want to make sure that our team is representative of our school community and our Wilmington, New Hanover community, so that we're not missing out, on people aren't missing out unintentionally because we just somehow overlooked that group, or somebody had to take themselves off of the committee because they couldn't, keep up with the workload, which apparently is not too hard, but other commitments, is what I really want to say. So if we could do that, that would be great. So what do you think? Should I just like call your name out and then you unmute yourself? Would that be the best way to do it? Okay, so Cynthia, you're first.
I'm always first, alphabetical
Yay.
order. I used to be at the end. Now I'm at the beginning.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Cynthia Boulay. I am both a staff member and a parent. My son goes to Trask. My girls go to Eaton, and I work at Blair.
Okay. And so are you a teacher, I guess?
No, I'm actually the child nutrition manager for Blair Elementary.
Oh, I thought I recognized you. I might have delivered you some presents back in May.
I do believe you did. You came into my back door, and you did.
Came to the back door because that's where we were instructed.
They were lovely.
Yeah. Okay. So so Blair and Eaton
and Trask.
Oh, and Trask. Yeah, I got that one. Okay. Great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Cress. We know who Cress is. The PR department extraordinaire. So yay. Who? Anne. We know who Anne is. I think you guys all know who Anne is. Our leader. The Allison Linkner.
Hello. I am a parent on video. I'm making dinner, so I was trying to.
That's okay.
I'm a parent of a senior at Laney and a ninth grader at Laney, and I have been a teacher in the school system in New Hanover County Schools for 25 years. I'm at Castle Hayne Elementary as the AIG teacher. I've been in AIG for about, pushing 20 years now. So
nice.
That's me.
Yay, great, thanks. Okay, Stephanie Adams. Do you want to talk about yourself again, or do we know who Stephanie is? Stephanie,
board chair, but also parent of a third grader at Forest Hills Elementary.
Forest Hills, okay. Brandon.
Hello, how are you? Sorry, let me turn my screen on. I'm here at my house.
I have to see what everybody looks like to make sure I know who you are, and I can talk to you if I see you, and here's Teeter.
I'm here at my kitchen table. Yeah, hey, Brandon Shope, Media Relations Coordinator for New Hanover County Schools. Work directly with Ann and Caress and Michael and Chase. And yeah, it's good to see you.
Great, thank you, Brandon. Looking forward to working with you.
Yes.
Tiffany.
Hey guys, my name is Tiffany Salter. I'm a parent of a fourth grader at the International School of Gregory, or at Gregory, but I'm also a mental health provider. I work for Coastal Horizon Center through the What Clinic. I'm a school-based provider, and I provide, services for adolescents as well.
Gotcha. Which What Clinic are you at? Are you at one of our schools, traditional high schools?
No, I'm at the office, the main
one.
Oleander, but I provide school-based services for Alderman and Dorothy B. Johnson.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mhm.
We need you.
Yeah. Thanks. I like to be needed.
Yes, we need you. Dolores.
I'm Dolores Mclean. I'm the webmaster for the district. I was a teacher at Myrtle Grove for a long time and a tech facilitator at Myrtle Grove, but I've been in the webmaster role since 2000. So
a very long time, and she has little feet, just in case anybody wants to. Yeah. Bernice Johnson.
Hello, everyone. I am Bernice Sanders Johnson. I am the president of the New Hanover County Council of PTAs. I am also serve on the North Carolina PTA board, and I am the parent of a daughter at Mary C. Williams in 4th grade, and in 6th grade at Myrtle Grove. My son goes to Myrtle Grove.
Okay. And Bernice and I are like partners in crime for many years, and she wears her pearls so nicely all the time. You have to make sure you compliment her on those. Sorry, Bernice, I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Kate Taylor.
I am the principal at Alderman Elementary, and I have a daughter in the 7th grade at Myrtle Grove Middle School.
Okay, and then so I'm seeing Pine Valley in your background. Did you used to go there? You were principal there?
I was the assistant principal at
Okay.
Pine Valley for 3 years.
Okay, now I wasn't certain if you had a child there or not, because I'm looking at your competition in the background.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I did at the time. She was with me there for those years when I was there. Yes.
Okay. And then, so I'm last, but I already told you about me. So that was good. Thank you so much. Oh, wait a minute. I missed
Sonia.
Sonia.
You miss Sonia?
I just jumped right over you. I'm so
Okay.
sorry, Sonia.
I'm Sonia Navahar. I have two kids. I have a kindergartner and a second grader in elementary schools.
And what school are you at?
They go to Parsley.
Parsley. Okay. Gotcha. And am I pronouncing your name right, Sonia?
That's
Okay,
exactly.
good.
Thank you.
All right. So we rolling through that. So, Anne, would you kind of help us out on the meeting schedule, roundtable format that we were talking about?
Sure, I'll be glad to. I'm going to pull up the agenda here. So, I know, Chris, can you share your screen and pull up the agenda?
It says meeting schedule, roundtable format,
Yeah.
review committee goals. So I got the committee goals, but I'm not certain I know, and I should, what our meeting schedule is and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we were going to confirm the bi-monthly nature of our meetings and just discuss, I think, a brief discussion of the idea that the communications division would probably take a more active role in orchestrating more frequent roundtables and surveys, maybe looking at expanding formats beyond roundtables, and then bring that information back to the committee instead of making it part of those alternate months. So I think this requires a bit of discussion.
Okay.
Can I that also, this is a great transitional time with Ms. Craybill joining the committee. I think for the first year and a half that we've had this committee, we did some good work. We had some great conversations. In that time, the communications and outreach department has become a little bit more solidified. And I think some of the things that we initially started discussing, not that they're not important or not necessary, I think that some of those we have helped to inform some of the policies and processes that have come into place. And so now it's that next step. What can this committee do for the next step to help support communications within the district? And so, we talked, Anne, Stephanie, and I met last week, and we talked about, as a committee, do we feel that we need to add members? As a committee, do we feel that we're meeting the appropriate amount of times? And what do we want to achieve now? So I think that is what the conversation for this next portion, should be, because we do have a lot of opportunities with the new board, new superintendent. I mean, there's a lot of things going on in the district. And so how could we as a committee support policy to change, to recommend to the board moving forward?
Okay, that sounds good. So, Caress, is it possible for you to share the screen of where where it says what our committee goals are? Or I mean, I can easily read them out, but just so that people don't have to read them and remember, is that possible?
Chris, that's on the website.
Share
Yeah.
what screen?
The
That's
screen on the website.
I have them up if you want me to share my screen.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I have them pulled up too, but I didn't know if everybody else. There you go. Okay, so yes, I was reading through. Oh, wait a minute, that's not the goals of the committee. There we go.
That's it.
There we go. All right, perfect. So yes, so that's where I was going from, to look at, our membership and, to help me understand what's the difference between a community member and a parent. And are we distinguishing between, because a lot of you, I heard you say you're a parent and you don't show up in the parent category. And then, yes, I was just trying to figure and the difference between parents and PTA, other than PTA is the PTA council, to make sure that we get a broad category on that. So we can come back to that when we talk about the membership part. But so for the goals, review and revise if needed district-wide parent communication. That was one of the things that is near and dear to me. And I consider that, the types of communication and, how best we communicate, create and implement accountability measures to assure our policies are followed. And so I'm on the policy committee as well. So I'll be able to take input from this group to the policy committee. And we are also looking at the policy committee to inviting a parent representative to be on that policy committee. So maybe somebody from this group naturally fits over there, or we can talk about that as well. And then to discuss and develop the innovative ways to reach out. I jumped ahead on that one because I just said it. And then create the parent communication calendar of events to generate interest and participation. So I'm not certain if that's the calendar that if you click, there's several different calendars on our website. So we probably need to kind of tighten up on that. So people, when they're clicking, they don't get a school calendar, or they don't get the days in calendar versus the calendar of activities. So we
never got to that.
Oh, you never got to that. Okay. All right. So that's where, does anybody want to jump in and make a comment? I mean, this doesn't bind us. This just sort of gets us starting to think so that we can figure out. Does anybody else have any comments about any of these or ideas?
I definitely do. When you had mentioned about the staff members and everybody listed, like, not that I'm not proud to be a staff member, but I'm also a parent. And I think that if we're in
Tell me who this
groups,
is. I can't see you. I'm sorry. Who's talking?
Cynthia.
Cynthia. Okay. Thank you. Sorry.
So sorry. So participants who are in dual groups, should be recognized, and it's almost seen as like a disclosure. So if, as a staff member, I feel like my input as a parent is also important. However, I also recognize that being a staff member comes with it almost like a disclosure, that people should be aware of the fact that, I'm also a staff member and not just a parent. So I think it's got to work both ways.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And never say just a parent, because, parents are important and parents do have jobs, so you just happen to have your job in our school system. So I just want to make sure that we have a good representation of staff member parents and parents, parent, non-staff member parents. So
right, because it looks like we're quite biased with being heavy on staff and not so much on parents. And with the purpose of this committee being what it is, I'd hate for, only parents in our community feeling slighted or like they're not being heard or represented.
Yeah, and that was my thoughts too. Sometimes staff members get information through their departments that when we think as a school system that we're sharing the information, but we're not necessarily sharing it, with all the stakeholder parties. So that's a real good point, Cynthia.
Yep. It's no different than, I've heard something come through the channels, directly from the source, and then I hear it three completely different ways from three completely different other pieces of information. And I'm like, how did we get three different messages on one message?
Right. And that happens on occasion. And so that's one thing I know the communications department, realizes and is trying to work on that. So that's good that we actually, now we have it, an official on paper from somebody other than, Anne.
Ms. Craybill.
Yes.
I kind of have the same thoughts that Cynthia has. When I applied to be on this committee, I was applying as a parent because I knew that as a parent, I was not to say I wasn't getting information, but the reason why I knew things is because I was an employee, not because I was a parent.
Right.
And
Exactly.
so when we transitioned to high school many years ago, and I'm in the elementary school, so when we ventured into middle school and then ventured into high school, while I was on the inside, being an employee, right, I really didn't know a lot about middle and high school. So I was kind of like, oh wow, I'm seeing this from a kind of a non-employee point of view at that point. That's why I applied to be on it.
Well, and that those are both very good points, because the as you're an employee, you might hear things through a different lens. And the same with, school board members. Sometimes we don't even know what has gone out, so that if you're calling to give us some feedback, we're like, oh, wow, I better check in and see what was told. So yeah, and that would happen, at lots of different levels. So yeah, good points, well taken.
This is Bernice. I would like to see, us add members from the Latinx community. I thought we used to have somebody, and I'm not sure if she's still here. And I
I think
also would
she
like to see
resigned.
us. Okay, I'm sorry.
No,
Okay,
no,
and I also would like to see representatives from non-traditional families, like families that are have grandparents as the lead, or just non-traditional families.
oh, very good. Very good point.
Bernice,
I
I'll let
second
you know,
that.
Michelle Suarez actually has resigned from the committee because she is going to school. So she just let us know a couple weeks ago. So we were intentional about trying to get representation from the Latinx community, and we have lost her. For the
Oh, okay. I thought we had somebody,
Yeah.
but I noticed when we did the names, I didn't. Yeah.
We got one. Me.
Oh,
my
all
married
right.
name doesn't project my. Perhaps I should also use my maiden name, which was Ruiz. So yeah, definitely representative of that community as well.
Oh, nice. Okay, so let's mark you down. You are in like a
Sure.
1,000 categories here. This is great.
I am uniquely qualified in many areas.
Hey, well, we
because
like
of that.
You speak Spanish too?
Not as well as I would like to, and it's quite embarrassing that my non-Hispanic husband speaks it better than I do.
Oh my gosh, that's okay. I can count to 10. So
I can get to 20 at least.
And do some colors. So, but yeah, we can work on that. And you know what? Along those same lines, if I could jump in, I was just talking with and Bernice, you may be able to add more comments about this. Was just talking to the president of the PTA Council, or the executive director. I get confused on what her title is, but Mari, and she said one of the newest things that they're talking about is male engagement. That dads and oftentimes get secondhand information, especially if there's a divorce or you're in the actually I don't even know what non-traditional is anymore, because there's so many families that are divorced and remarried that may not even be non-traditional, in our community. But yeah, so I was thinking about that, and I was checking out our men folk on the list, but our men seem to be school system employees. So maybe that's something that we can, I wrote that down as something that we can maybe reach out to get some more dads or uncles or grandfathers, or just men in the community that, help dads to be engaged. Does anybody else see that as a need?
Right. I will tell you, in 2 cycles of applications, we've never had any men apply. So just know that.
Yeah.
But so that would definitely, I think it's a great idea though. In addition to Bernice's point, I think it's also really important. I think that we need to get grandparents on this committee that are serving as parents, because that there may be an age difference there, and are they getting what they need to get, and how? So I think that finding a little bit of an age differential in our members could matter too.
Okay. Yeah. Great.
Thank you, Stephanie Adams, for that. And if we do open up the membership cycle, I'm happy to reach out, especially some men in the African American community. I'm happy to reach out to some of those people that I may know that, could do a little prodding to get them to join the committee.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
Stephanie, I think that we may have representation with our current membership from the special needs parents community, yes. But I think that would help us quite a bit.
Does anybody I didn't hear anybody mention that in their intro, but again, we didn't really talk about a whole bunch. Do any of you fall into that category? Okay, and not a big deal, because we can easily reach out, through our EC department, and maybe even through some of our PTAs that might have, special groups that work, with our EC families. Okay, that's good. All right, so yeah, so I'm gonna have to learn, and I can learn from Stephanie A. How what the application process is, so that we can do that. And do you usually post that online? That like we have an application process that we post.
Communications and Outreach puts it on the website. They also promoted it through social media. What I think that we really need to do as a committee is be intentional ourselves. And when that application is prepared for us, because we all have different networks here within the community. And I think that in addition to just the public postings, and that's why we get so many applicants from New Hanover County Schools, because obviously New Hanover County Schools employees are looking at our pages more frequently. So I think that's why the last application cycle, we had very few just parents, a lot, or family members. It was a lot of our employees. Awesome applications, really wanted to be a part of it. But if we're looking for that parent or family voice that doesn't have that leg up of being privy to information because of being an employee, I think that we've got to get active as a committee to reach out to our networks too.
Yeah, so maybe I can toss that out as just that's our homework, that we leave here from, is for each of us to maybe reach out to our circles of influence and just ask people, and direct them back to the website, as long as we all know where we're directing them, to get more people. And it would be nice if we and maybe I can work on this part just to kind of make a little spreadsheet for us on are we representative of elementary, middle, and high schools? And then within our high schools, are we representative of the many different facets of high schools that we have, traditional versus non-traditional, for example. So that might be something to look at. And did we need to include our pre-K community at all? Just to make sure that they're getting the kind of information that they need. I'm not certain, because I'm not.
We have a pre-K. I don't think she's on here today.
You do?
We do. I don't think she's on here.
Okay, so either Beth, Katie, Catherine.
I think it's Catherine. Isn't Catherine pre-K?
Catherine Logue, yes.
Yes.
She's a pre-K? Okay. And
she is both a pre-K parent and works at CREC.
At CREC, okay. And that's the school that's out there on Oleander, way far down, that towards Mary C. Williams. I mean, South College Road. Yeah.
Near
okay.
Junction.
It used to be the pre-K center, like a while when in the olden days. Yeah, I think I know it. I've subbed there before, but I just didn't know it's changed names a couple times since I was there. Okay. All right.
Stephanie, I would suggest, why don't we come up with a timeline for when we're going to have the application posted, so members know when to go seeking. We'll send it. I mean, we can send an email, when it's posted, but what do you think would be an appropriate timeline? And I don't know if we need to backpedal to find out if the schedule of every other month is what we want to continue to do.
Yeah, let's backpedal, because these are all kind of intertwined. This item number 4. So yeah, so talk to us, Anne, about that.
So the schedule has been every other month, alternating meetings and roundtables. And then taking the summer months, we don't meet during the summer months. Okay. And so the discussion was around how we would handle those roundtable months, whether we would handle those differently going forward. And then the question of the frequency, is every other month working, monthly, evaluating those options.
So when we are saying we don't meet in the summer, when is our last meeting of the month? I mean, or the last meeting of the year? May. Okay.
We do August, October, December. I think we skipped December, so now we're in January. So it'd be January, March, May.
Okay. And the only reason I'm asking that question is because especially this year, as we are just trying to get back into school, I want to make sure, and I don't know if you guys can correct me if you think I'm being a little, much, but the beginning of the school year seems to be a time that we need to be getting out good information, to parents. E- Especially with, the way things might be changing, or, we don't know what school's going to look like, in May at this point right now, but, and for all of our students, but summertime may be a good time for us to think about what kind of messages we want to get out, for us to make sure that we get out in back to school messages. What's the best back to school messaging? And even if things are just exactly the way they were for, 100 years, to me, back to school messaging is one of the most important messages that you can get, from either your school board or your superintendent, or your school. Just, if nothing else, a rah-rah. We used to have a convocation, to get everybody back, but we don't do that anymore. But I think parents and students just really would feel like it's like going school clothes shopping, which we don't do anymore. But you're getting ready for the new school year. So I would like to have us either talk over the summer or really plan hard, in May, for what a back to school messaging looks like. Does anybody have any comments on that?
I think meeting sometime at least in the summer, so that way we kind of have our stuff together before the school year starts, would definitely be a good idea, because it's already crazy with parents trying to get all of the things that need to happen done. And yeah, it might be just that one more piece of information, but it might also be a great way to be able to make sure that all of this stuff is a little easier for them, because especially if this last year has shown us anything and everything we can make everyone's life easier, especially the teachers, that would be fantastic.
Okay, so we'll just add that to our notes as, as something that we might, that we may want to talk about. So yeah, so meeting schedule. So our next meeting would be of this group, without being a roundtable, would not happen until March. Is that what I'm hearing? And then in May. Okay. And so how successful do we feel that our roundtable meetings are? And are we reaching the people that we think we need to reach? So any comments? Thoughts? Parents, jump in.
So just give you a little back history. Our roundtables usually are specific to a certain group. So, like for instance, we did grandparents, we did the Latinx community. So I think they've been doing fairly well, in my opinion.
Okay.
I agree. I think the roundtables have been very successful and definitely helped us patch in to some groups of families that we don't typically hear from. What I would say is that the model has been working, and I think that communications may want to take over this part of the committee, simply because they're doing some of these on their own now anyway. And so I don't want to confuse by saying this is a family communications committee roundtable versus the Office of Communications and Outreach is doing roundtables. And I think that if maybe we could support when communications is doing one, maybe an email to the committee like, hey, we're doing this if anybody wants to be a part of it. But I don't know if we should continue to be the hosts because they're doing something similar now or want to do something similar.
Yeah, and to add to that, we are also looking at not just looking at specific audiences, but looking at surveys and research related to our different communication channels. For instance, the committee has taken a look now at the website, but then doing more research into and getting more feedback on our website and changes we could make there. So that kind of model would give us more flexibility to use roundtables, but use other methods as well. And we could also bring our findings to the committee to discuss and get input on next steps. Could be a different model to consider.
I would definitely, I'm sorry, Stephanie. I would definitely agree with Stephanie Adams. Like, I would want us to step back if that's something you're going to be doing, because we don't want to cause confusion with, our parents and families. I think, with everything going on, people are confused enough. So, I think it would be kind of like, just let y'all do it.
And then that might switch one of our goals over to be something more along the lines of our goals is to provide input and suggestions to advise, the communications department on the types of information that we would like to see, or types of data that we would like to have collected. So because sometimes you get a gut feel that this is what's happening, but you don't really know. All you can do is, and maybe on your side of town this is working, but on my side of town it's not, or elementary it's working, but does it really apply to middle school? Yeah. So how does that sound like, to maybe kind of alter, either add to our goals, add to a goal, or modify one of our goals, that we act as a, I guess that's the same thing, collaborate and discuss innovative ways to reach out. But that would be the communications department's doing that, but we would be more in an advisory role from that. Is that what I'm hearing?
From our end, yes, that'd be really helpful, and to help us with the analysis as well.
Okay. Now that's good, because the board committees are really only supposed to be to like facilitate, and get more information out to people. We're kind of a governance body. We're not necessarily a doing body, but it doesn't mean that we can't do, if it supports the cause and doesn't compete with the cause. So, and that's something that you're okay with, Anne and team? Okay.
Absolutely. I will mention, Dr. Faust, I know, wants to bring back convocation too, just FYI.
Yeah, no, I tried to sneak my way into as many of those as I could, as a PTA person. And there's just something about it, that everybody's just together. It's like if you went to college, your freshman 101 class, just to sort of, here we go, it's going to be great. And this year he'll be with us from the very beginning, so it would be really nice, to do that. So one of the other things that along these same lines that I had broached the subject with our board, but we haven't really talked more about it, but the idea of having talk with the board, talk with parents or teachers. And so I'm looking at family communications. Does that fall into that, like these roundtables? Does it fall into that kind of category? So that we would not have to do that because you guys are going to do that.
So involving board members as part of the research that we're doing. Or
maybe we just clue each other in, as part of because one of the parts of our board meetings are where we have committee reports. And so we're still working through what that looks like. Stephanie A., our chair, is working through our schedule, what that looks like. So I wanted to keep, our committee work, in the forefront, so people are constantly knowing what, that we're doing more. And if they have an issue or there's something that's not getting communicated correctly, where do they go? So would they come to you? Would they, drop me a line? Just one of those kind of things, because there's so many things, and I'm sure we all know that if we just gave them one tidbit of information, then, things that are festering or I'm confused, it just goes so far, so I just want to make sure that we don't miss any opportunities for a town hall forum where we can, open up the floor. And it's not really to solve problems. It's more or less just to kind of be heard, like they do at, like the county commissioner meetings where they are they want to hear work on or opinions on this new roadway that's going through or this new shopping center.
I think we talked about if the goal is to gather information, we talked about the possibility of creating some sort of a Google Doc.
Yes.
That families would be able to share their feedback that they are not a part of. They may not be a part of the committee, but if they're struggling and it's something specific to communications, and as we move to the website conversation in like a minute, which we need to do, when we move to the website conversation, maybe that's, is there a section where a comment section on the website that's going to populate something and it be able to filter it into different types of, this is a specific question for communication. This is a specific question for special needs. This is a specific question about, I don't know, redistricting, whatever it is. But is that something that the website could do? You know, so if someone's struggling with Connect 5, you know, can they send a question in about that? I don't know. So just, I think that that's something that would be helpful as we go into the website discussion.
Okay. No, I like that. The more information we can capture from people, and not to have like, you know, I got you kind of thing, but a paper trail back so that we can actually, you know, try and make sure that we're meeting the needs of people. Just because we heard it doesn't mean that we met the needs. So yeah, thank you. Okay, well, how long does our meeting last? Till 6?
We're scheduled till 6:30.
Okay.
But the website discussion, it's going to be extensive. So we want to make sure that we give enough time for everybody to be able to talk through, you know, the notes that Dolores shared with us today.
Okay, so let's wrap up this portion then. And what I would like for us to do as part of this portion is if everybody, you know, could just take a minute, not right this minute, but sometime, you know, in the next week, let's say. So take a look at what the goals are, and based on what we have said here, and just kind of reflect back. Are these goals still what our committee wants to do? What we think we're about? And then at our next meeting, we can talk about it. And maybe if there's nothing planned for our roundtable in February, maybe we can get back together in February and just sort of talk about those goals and any of the website stuff that we don't get to, and then we start moving forward, you know, on a regular basis. Does that sound like something that we can do? That people would feel okay with?
I think it would be a good suggestion that if people have edits for the goals, that they can email them to you. And then
Yeah. Okay. Email them to me.
And then you could send that out to the committee. And then that way, if we're going to have another meeting, then everybody can review it prior to the meeting.
Yeah.
And so that way they have the information ahead of the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds good. All righty. So now let's swing into number 5, the website. And I tell you what, you guys did some great homework. So Stephanie Adams, help me out. Your thought process on this, because I wasn't part of the discussion when you put it out. Is it that we want each person to like sort of summarize what they did, or do we want to just use this as a talk point? I don't want to get ahead of myself, and I don't want to make more work.
So I think we should pass this to Dolores to facilitate. Or it's either, is it Dolores is going to facilitate this portion, Anne?
Yeah, Dolores and I can do that. And if you don't mind, we'll start just with tell you about the changes that we are making. We're about to launch a couple changes and then get right into that change document, and we'll go through the comments.
Okay.
Okay, so Caress, could you, I guess, share screen with Dolores? Dolores, are you able to pull up your demo for the homepage?
Let's see. It won't let me share screen. Do I need to go out and come back in? Okay, there we go.
We're Dolores has been working with our host company on some revisions to the homepage. That's where we're starting. So we'll just run through those really quickly because we're excited. We're pretty close to launch, and then we'll get into
Not sure what. And what are y'all seeing?
We're seeing the bottom of the page. Can you scroll up?
Okay, so I'm not sure what you're seeing. I'm not sure what screen you're seeing.
We're seeing this.
Because I don't have anything on the bottom. Let me just close some things down.
I'm seeing where you have your About Us, the Board of Education, and then percentages of district-wide graduation, meals served, 45 schools in the district. That's what I'm seeing.
Hey, Dolores, we're seeing the new homepage, the updated in progress in production homepage. And you have it
but we're
scrolled
at the
down.
bottom.
You have it scrolled down to the very bottom of it where our social media feeds are.
Okay.
So it's the right
I'm
page.
not-
We just need to
that
go to the
then-
top.
We're not seeing, this is what I'm trying to share. That's not me.
That's it. Now you're at the top of the new page.
There we go. Yeah. Can you see
Yeah.
it now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Thanks.
So this is the updated homepage that we're hoping to go live with next week. Some things are the same and some things have been changed. The first change we made was the slider. It's now the picture smaller, and then we have a text area where we can put information. You can, for example, on this one, we have Board Appreciation Month, but we also have a link to the board. So it's not just where you can put a caption, but you can also link to additional information. It'll be a place where we can add things to that we want to promote. And I think that having the text over on the left will bring that out more than it would when it was in the caption in the small lower right corner. And we can put video here as well, little snapshot videos of things to promote the different things going across the district. The next section is a new section, and this is highlighting the division information stories.
Yeah, we're trying to highlight our communication channels here, and a lot of what we've done with the homepage is to try to bring content that's deeper in the website, bring it out to the.
Yeah, I like that, because sometimes you're trying to find something and our search tool is not really very well. I shouldn't say not very good. I don't want to say that, but it's you get so much information. Like if I search Stephanie Craybill in there, who knows what I get, on our website, or a program. You could get a media report, a media article from 10 years ago.
Right. Yeah. So this section highlights our written content, and then our videos, and then our podcasts, and then our TV station. So we're highlighting the feature of the week, and then you're able to click through to access all of the content in that section.
This section is not changing. And then we have a new section to, once again, like Ann said, to bring out some of the things that are on the website, to bring them to the homepage. Do you want to speak to this, Ann?
Well, we've just tried to pull out some of the most frequently visited sections, or the priorities for the district, and then highlight them here. So as you can see, there's a title, and then you hover and it changes to a description of the section. And we're highlighting enrollment and registration, Title IX, equity, diversity, and inclusion, volunteers, bilingual resources, and then the leader, which, Dolores, you can explain what that is.
That is a online publication, sort of like a little online magazine that we're working on, and hope to have, will be published quarterly. Hoping in the next month to have the first edition, and it'll pull together some of the stories that we've put out there, but also new content in sort of an online publication format. And then there will be, like you said, quarterly, and you'll be able to access, the previous ones. It'll archive automatically, and so that's in the works as well. So that's something new that will be, pushing out. District at a Glance is out there, but it got an update. Looks a little prettier. And then a big change is the items of interest is now our social media feeds. And the way that this works is this first tab is just random post of all our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It shows 3 at a time. You can load more and more and more and more. If you just want to see what's on Facebook, then you can switch to this and it'll bring up just Facebook post, then just Twitter, and then Instagram. And so your social media is now there and you can see what's going on. And then the footer is not changing.
Yeah. So we just wanted to make you aware that these changes are coming, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. But what we'll do is once we've launched, we'll just send you the link and let you know. We'll call it a soft launch. We're aiming for Tuesday morning. We wanted to get through the transition of Plan B first, and then would love to have your feedback because we'll continue to make improvements. But yeah, so that's where we are with that. And now I think we can go into the deeper content audit. Dolores, I think you compiled everyone's comments.
Yes.
And can I ask a question real quick? So the soft launch you said was going to be to everybody or just to us or just to a pilot group?
No, we're planning on just going ahead and making the transition and launching because they're not significant changes to the homepage.
Okay.
I mean, I'd love to hear your comments and recommendations from the committee, but we were just going to proceed with the launch since it's just the homepage and it's
Okay.
Yeah, minor changes at this point.
Yeah, because sometimes it's easier to just not easier, but it makes more sense to get a little bit of feedback in a controlled group because something you thought was working, may not be working, but you're right, it's just the homepage. So I think
and we are at a stage, we're just in the final editing and writing the content, updating the content. So Dolores, I think we could probably share that for feedback even tomorrow. Would that be possible?
I can share the link if you would like.
Okay, we'll try to do that tomorrow morning, and then see if anyone has any feedback. We would love to hear it.
Yeah, and anybody who cares too, and it's basically just a fail safe, like, oh wow, we
Absolutely.
didn't, yeah, and then before we go live, and then you have to, oh, now I have to change that again. But yeah, that would be good. Thank you.
Okay, Dolores, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you received, and then we can start with the About Us.
What I did was any responses that I got back about the different areas of the website, I just compiled this Google Doc so we could go through them item by item and discuss. The About Us section was the first one, and these were just some of the things. I didn't have time to sort of pull them together because I got most of the stuff yesterday or today, and but these were the items, and then I have each section in this one document. So you just want to go through and read them and discuss, or where
I think that would make sense, going through section by section.
Would it make sense maybe for the person who gave the feedback to just say what they thought, rather than Dolores maybe trying to guess what we said? I mean, I wasn't assigned one, so I didn't do one. So I don't know, just to give people a chance to, some of them are kind of obvious. This link was broken. Those are easy ones. Unless you want to do it, Dolores, you go.
Well, I mean, if you want to, I mean, I don't know if it would be helpful for someone else to pull up the website and have that be what we're looking at.
I agree. That's what I was going to suggest. Maybe Suarez, could you pull up the website and navigate along with Dolores? She can read the comment, and that can be a kickoff for the discussion.
Yeah, that's what I just did. I just pulled up it on my other computer, sitting side by side, so I could more easily follow along.
Right. I think it'll help to be able to see. And then that gives everyone an opportunity to give input, because we were all assigned different sections. We didn't.
Do I need to stop sharing, or?
Yeah, Caress can go ahead and share and navigate this website.
Okay.
And we'll start with About Us.
Okay. The About Us section, I think one thing about the website that might not be obvious when you go there is because we have drop down menus for some of the navigation items and some don't. About Us, there is an About Us page. So you click on About Us, you get information on that page, but there's also items that drop down, some of the more important links are part of a drop down menu. Is everyone seeing that?
So I'm on the About Us. Oh, we haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
Dolores, can you stop sharing?
Yes. Okay, I'm sorry.
The day when we're all in one room again.
I know, it would be nice.
We can throw this up on a screen.
Okay. So on the actual About Us page is the mission and the vision and all, and then there's also these other pages that are on the drop down that are included on the left-hand side. One of the first comment was about the calendar. So if you want to click on is there any, and no one really made any comments about, I don't think about, well, they did, and some things. The calendar that says calendar could use more events, and the print school testing link should be more noticeable. So this calendar, and I don't know if you want me to explain in this, the calendar is a Google calendar that pulls in district events, anything that is provided. Normally there would be more on it because we have activities going on across the district, and that's just not been happening this past year. So mainly right now, the things that are going on are meetings. So that's what you're seeing a lot of. And this calendar and the calendar that is on the homepage, that's the same calendar. It's just displayed in a different way. And then the school year print calendars, that's where you can find the PDF files that the district puts out with all of the work days and the calendars for each school. And then also links to if parents want to pull in either Google or if they have another calendar system like Outlook or whatever, you can get the iCal feed and pull it into your school. These are the calendars that give you the work days and the holidays and start and end day and that type of thing. If you go back to the main calendar page, we also tried to provide links to the individual school calendars here because they all have their own school calendar, and then a link to the testing calendar is required by the state. I'm not exactly sure that that's working right now. I'm not sure if it's out there. That's something I need to look into. It goes there mainly probably because the testing calendar, I'm not sure if it's been updated.
I just want to say about the main calendar. Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
That calendar that pops up, and this is Stephanie, the parent. I wanted to see where spring break was the other day, and I wanted to find it on this main calendar, and it's not listed. The last day of school isn't listed. And so I'm not saying that we have to have every event listed, but the big ones, I was surprised that some of that was not on this calendar. And I know to go to the PDF version, for a parent that doesn't navigate the site often, it was kind of surprising.
We could add certain events, but we have 7, is it 7 now? Individual school calendars.
Yeah.
And so we have, end dates we probably have 5 or 6, at least 5 different end of school dates. Spring break is the same for most everybody, but not all. And so this hasn't been merged with those. I can do that because I have a Google calendar that is for every school year, but I'd have to merge all of them on there. and I can do that. That's not a, it's just a matter of displaying what you want to display on the main calendar. So
I think as long as it says traditional, last day of school, restart, spring break, if it's able to identify it that way, or if it's possible to do it in a different color, like traditional schools are purple, and I don't know if that's even possible with this website, but if you go to a traditional school and traditional schools are green, so when it says last day of school in green, that's the traditional last day of school. It may not have that capability.
This is kind of the question that I was getting to, or the comment when I was making in some other place, when your search engine, when you search calendars, when you search calendars, you come up, you get this for the most part. This is the one that you get. And if you're really not paying attention, I mean, somehow I think we need to highlight the school calendar, the individual calendar, the testing calendar in a different way so that people know, dang, that's not what I was looking for. Now what do I do? Because I'm just thinking that to get your comment in, Stephanie, which I agree with, but I think it would be like way too much stuff on the calendar. Would we confuse people? I don't know. I'm just sort of talking both ways, because this calendar thing was one of the things I was thinking about, because this is not what I expected when I pulled up when I Googled count or searched calendar on our website.
Yeah, maybe having a narrative at the beginning that tells you what calendar to go to for certain information.
That might be, yes, just like like an asterisk where you do like a footnote kind of thing. I think that might be helpful, because it could be, it could be frustrating, for the average Joe.
Yeah. What other comments, either from the input document, Dolores, or rest of the committee? Any other comments on the calendar section and the About Us section?
Maybe that calendar can be renamed meeting calendar, or something other, like something else added in front of the word calendar to make it. Because even now, with my kid being in the school system for 6 years, and as long as I've worked there, I still pick the wrong calendar.
Right.
Could you do something where instead of going to this district calendar, you go to a page with all the different calendars, and it just says like district calendar, early college calendar, restart calendar, and then they have to select one, as opposed to seeing this and saying, that's not what I want, where do I go?
Yes, much better.
Yeah,
most people aren't going to calendar to see the committee meeting dates.
Yeah.
So one calendar landing page with explanation of your options. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, Dolores, any other comments before we?
On calendars?
Yeah, was there anything else in the document about us?
No, there was just two things. They said the Minnie Evans link is broken. But
the only other thing that I mentioned is when you're on like a phone navigating the website, when you click on the drop downs, under calendars, there's a drop down on your phone that says school calendars and school year calendars. So the drop downs, the language doesn't match on the drop down menu on the phone from what is actually on the site. Because on the site, there's 3 options, but the language wasn't the same.
Okay, the mobile menu is set up separately, so I need to check behind the scenes to see what that is causing that difference.
Great. Any other comments about us and calendar?
About us, yeah, there was a whole section. I think Kate, this was your section.
Yes.
I know that you gave me some things, and I think the things about the mobile thing, I just need to check the mobile menu for that. She talked about the directions and perhaps having a different title there. If you can, Press, can you click on over there on the left where it says directions? Did you, Press?
What was that?
Can you bring up directions over on the left? Thank you. This is set up with, it has all of the different areas, and it has a map at the bottom that has the different things.
Oh, I never even saw the map. I didn't even know the map was down there.
And so, Kate, what you said, that the heading, we might need to have a different heading for that.
So this happens to me a lot on our website, that I think that what has come up on the screen is what is available on that site, but this pages are really long. And so I don't, like, for a really long time, I didn't know our homepage had all of that stuff at the bottom of it, because I assumed that what fits in the screen, like our school web pages, for example, are what is on the screen. Like, you don't scroll way down. And so, yes, I did not even know the map was at the bottom. To me, I thought this was just the school street addresses. So that the directions makes more sense now as a heading, now that I know there's a map.
Dolores, I wonder if it's possible to add a scroll down function when there's more content below the scroll. Do you know if Final Site offers that?
I would just, you know, have to
We
ask.
can add that all the way through.
Do you think it's helpful? I know, and maybe we're going to get to that when we get to other things, but do you, do we need to, on the central office buildings, make a note somewhere on what is in those buildings? Because there are a number of people who, if you say Carolina Beach Complex, because the administration building is so close to Carolina Beach, you know, people might, and it's still on Carolina Beach Road, I have had people confused about that, you know, before. So I don't know if directions page is the right place to put that, but somewhere can we capture, you know, like what happens at the big, you know, the Board of Education Center? We kind of, well, people may not even know what that means either, you know, but I don't know. Is there a better place to put that?
We can take a look at that. I definitely understand your point. It could be appropriate here, but probably there's another location as well. Maybe in the directory, we take a look at that.
Right.
And there's really nothing wrong with having it in two places, you know, just in case you can't get to the right place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very good point.
Yeah, I think we had that at one time where the different divisions, departments, we had a place on the old website and listed the address, like this department is in this area. And we do ask that each area that has their website list their location, you know, for that. Like if you're looking for transportation, it lists where they're located.
Right. So how come the Mini Evans has a link and none of the other ones do?
Because they have a website.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't have to be there. It's in other places. So, but they have a website because, you know, they have content beyond just existing. Like we just exist and we have websites, but I mean, Mini Evans is
its own entity. Yeah, I understand. I was just curious I didn't realize they had their own website.
They do because of the fact that they're the Performing Arts Center and it's open to the public, and they have right now not a lot going on, but you know, in normal times, you know, the public is a building that's used by the public, and so if they're looking for that, they need more information about what's available there, and that's just one way for them to get there.
Okay.
Hey,
I think the link that was broken.
Yeah, I'll check that out. I think they're in the process. I think they updated their website and they may have changed the URL. So I've got a note to check that tomorrow and to make sure that gets updated. I think a lot of the things, Kate, that you mentioned were just things I need to go in and like tweak here and there and double check. Anybody else got any things that they want to talk about us? Anything that anybody wanted to bring up? I think we need to look at the calendars and how that's organized. Definitely.
And do we have Title IX and equity, diversity, inclusion on our homepage? Because those are two strategic areas that the school system is focusing on. Or, I mean, like, how did we pick those to be on the homepage or about us page and not someplace else? Not that they're not important, and I agree, but how did we pick those versus others?
Yeah, for that reason, because they're priorities for the district. They're included in more places than other content because they are high priority for the district.
Okay.
That's not to say, you know, we couldn't change some of the content in the drop down for that top navigation.
I don't have a problem with that. The maybe we can put them in alphabetical order just so it doesn't look like Title IX is taking preference over equity and equity and diversity.
Yeah.
Be just as a matter of course, if that way you don't even imply prioritization.
Yeah, good point. Is there anything else in about us?
Okay, moving on, the next section is Board of Education. Most of the comments that I got for this section really were a couple of things, just more like corrections. With the history section that is in, I updated that, and the student scholarship stuff, I know that's under consideration. I didn't really get any huge things there. Does anybody have anything they want to say about?
There's one thing, and now, I mean, I didn't look at this, but this has been sort of on my mind since I started looking at this page a lot more. And if I can't find it quickly, then I will just get back to you later. But there is one place on here. Oh, when we click on, if you go to committees, I'm pretty sure this is one. Let's go to committees, and then we go to equity and there's one of them. No matter what we click to, it comes to Title IX. It comes to Title IX.
Okay. So I just need to check the links on that
Yeah,
page.
and again, maybe it's already been fixed, but I just wanted to it goes to what it doesn't say. I mean, it goes to the wrong place.
Okay.
But I'll find that for you. And then I'm just wondering, do we want to keep on there committees that we don't have anymore?
And I'll comment on that. We look to, Crystal Bowie right now for updates.
Okay.
So right now what we have reflects what we've gotten. It was just updated, I think, Dolores. You went through a series of updates.
Well, we went through what I knew to update.
Right.
But
so perhaps we need to check with her to see if there are any additional updates.
Yeah, or maybe even check with Stephanie Adams, and to let you know, because she's the one who gives Crystal the information. Because there are some committees that we're not doing anymore, or that we've called it something else, kind of thing.
Okay.
I got Stephanie. You sent Crystal a list, and she sent that to me right at the last board meeting, and I went through and made those updates.
Yes, thank you for that.
So if there's, and I added what I had. So if there's information that needs to, come down or be changed, just let me know and we'll get that updated.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Any other changes or suggestions for the Board of Education section?
I had one. Isn't it all like, I happen to know most of the people on the board, so I know, but I know that there are people who are like, oh, well, these people are on the board, what about their term? When does it start? When does it end? A little bit of, just like a blurb, a little bit about them.
Yeah.
Like the county commissioners have a whole section called bio.
Yeah.
when you-
So
Right?
we're working on that. We've requested that. So I know it's in process.
Yay.
You requested it. I never sent anything. I'm sorry.
We haven't gotten anything from anybody yet. So don't feel
Okay,
alone.
good.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that was,
I think I missed that. I
no,
missed
no.
it.
Stephanie, it hasn't come up.
Oh, okay.
Like
okay.
with the new board, this was like the old board, they
gotcha.
requested it because some of our other members had a bio and those of us that came on 2 years ago did not. And we just never did that. So being that everybody had a clean slate, I figured we would get back around to that.
Yeah. I think Suarez developed a questionnaire and we sent it in, and it is going to be distributed to the board members as we've requested that. So that's where that stands, but that is definitely in the works. Is that right, Suarez?
Yes, it is in Crystal's hand, and she is reviewing it and should distribute it to board members.
Yeah, because I agree completely. That's a great addition.
Okay, anything else on Board of Education? Okay, the community, well, I guess we can go schools. And this was one that you spoke to, so do you want to?
Sure, let me did you want to cover community or?
I mean, I was just, we can go in order across the thing,
Oh,
or we
got
can
it.
go in order of the document. It doesn't matter to me.
Got it. Oh, got it. Okay. I had noted that the principal directory seemed like a great addition to me, but I don't know if anyone else has any comments about it and the format. This is new for the website.
The community page?
This is under schools and we have the principal directory.
I kind of like a principal directory, just, I kind of like that, so if you don't know, who they are, or if, people are going to the school, they at least, know who their principal is in case they haven't met them. I don't know what the disadvantage would be.
Okay. And then I was just asking the question, I know that to get to the schools requires multiple clicks. And I know that sometimes that can be annoying for users.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if we had the capability to have a second drop down. Dolores, is that possible?
When you mean,
so in other words, you hover over elementary schools and then a list of the elementary schools would pop up. Rather than going to an elementary school landing page with a list of links. Is that possible? Or do we, is that making sense?
like when you go to schools and click on elementary, it brings up a page. So you're saying you don't want to, you want it to have like a second pop out?
Well, I'm just asking if we have that capability.
Yes, it's all how it's structured. Considering, I mean, I think if we have so many elementary schools, I'm not exactly sure how it would look. But we can check that out and see. It's the element, you just know how many levels down you want to go.
Right.
So it would be involving I'd have to create something, a pretend link for all the elementary schools on my side, so that they would show up and then redirect to the school side.
Yeah, and I don't know if that bothers anybody else. It's just a different way to get there. Instead of going to another landing page, you're just hovering and clicking. I don't know if anybody has any feelings on that.
I'm not certain if this has a feeling about that, but in the olden days, on your old, not in the olden days, I wasn't really even paying attention that when you click on schools, you get the principal directory instead of a listing of all the schools. Is there no way that we can have both? Or is that too much?
Yes, that's actually what was there. And then they had me converted into a principal directory. So
well, and I like them both. Yeah.
I can do both.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes, especially for, let's just say like there is a business, or somebody that wants to donate and they're glancing, they want to see how many elementary schools do we have? And then you just see the list. So there's advantages to both ways. I don't know if I like either one better, but I do like the principals, and I do like, you know, clicking right to their school, but I also like the list of the schools, you know, just plain, you know, in the old one we had, but I am not, you know, tied into that.
The other question I had about the schools page is I wondered, and you know, I think there's a fine line between putting too much on the pages, but if when you go to the schools page, if that would be a good place to have the link to be able to see what your district is, to be able to enter your address or to enter an address, you know, if you're new and you're coming to learn about the schools, to be able to find what school your child would be districted for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
And with
exists
that,
now.
I'm sorry, what?
Where does that exist now? Or
It's under registration.
that's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, but it can be, I mean, it's just a link to the site with the map, so it can be added wherever it needs to be. So
Yeah, as a parent, that is always hard to find. Just you have
Okay.
to remember it is under registration. I don't know if that's the best place for it to be, or if it can stand out more somehow. I'm not sure. Mhm.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with Bernice, is that we definitely need to, this would be one you should have in multiple locations.
that, and what about our non-traditional schools? Like, if you wanted to see if you were Eaton or Cottington, the map doesn't tell you that. Like, you can toggle between the elementary, the middle, and the high, but there's nothing else for, you know, the other schools.
the only thing that I know right now that exists for that is that it's a PDF map that divides it into those two districts.
Where
And
is
you can
that?
add a link to that there's a link to that along on the enrollment page. Those two links can be added wherever you would like. I don't know that I can check with Denise and see that there's a way to, like, you can't use the school locator for that. So it's just a matter of providing both things so that if parents are looking for that year round, where they fall in year round, then they can pull up that map.
And you know who, I mean, other people besides, you know, parents, you know, use our website. And the one I do a little bit of, you know, side work with a friend of mine at Intercoastal Realty. And I can't tell you how many times the question pops up with realtors: what school district is this address? Do you know what address, what school it is? And so I have referred people to the link. And the link is kind of a weird, you know, unintuitive link. And it took me a while to find it. On school attendance zone. So that might even be something that we put on the about us, you know, or way up in the front, because more people than parents, you know, legitimately want to know that information.
That's most probably used most often at real estate.
Yes,
People
right,
buy,
right.
and parents who are looking to buy
right.
house. Yeah. But it can be added. It's a link, you know, to that site or to that map, and those two things can be added wherever you think is appropriate. It exists, so it's just a matter of providing, you know, a link to it in as many places as we think makes sense. So
I want to be sensitive to everybody's time, and I know we're approaching 6:30. I knew there's no way we'd have enough time to do all of this. So possibly using that February
time
and
slot. That's what I was going to suggest, Anne, is do we need to take a vote on that? I would like to suggest that we have our time, instead of a roundtable in February, to use this time to finish, because this is great discussion, and maybe more people would even take the time to look at the section that they didn't have, you know, based on our discussion right now. So do we have to vote on that? Stephanie, help me out.
I would suggest a date and see, and just put a show of hands if people are willing to do that. And then we would just have to follow up with a calendar invite.
Okay. So, Anne, what do you want to, do you want to suggest a date, or do you, like, what date would it be? Like the third Thursday in February would be the 18th?
That would follow our normal calendar.
Okay. So you want to just, so do we vote on it or?
It would be February 18th, and
Yeah.
I would just see if that, do a show of hands. They could put if Chris could stop sharing the screen,
Yes.
then we can get all of the people up, and then you can just do your reaction. Do either a thumbs up if that date will work for you.
Okay, so where's reaction? Oh my God.
It's February 18th from 5 to 6:30.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I'll still be here then.
Yay, Dolores, you can't go until this project's done. Yeah.
And
maybe we'll.
The site looks great, Dolores. I'm excited for the rollout. The new updates look fantastic.
Okay, I will send that link to everybody, because you can actually pull it up and look at it, and check it out. So I'll go ahead and do that tomorrow. So.
Okay. Well, I want to do one last thing because I am remiss when I just brushed over Caress being extraordinary. She didn't get a chance to brag that she was also a parent. I didn't know if she was a parent. I'm not quite certain I know how old Rory is, so I didn't know if we needed to include her in the parent category. Caress.
She is not quite old enough to be a parent in this. So
Okay.
For the time being, for the next possibly year, maybe if she gets in the pre-K program, or 2
Okay.
years if she doesn't. I'm just staff member and toddler parent.
Okay, no, I didn't want to leave you out because I knew Rory's going to be driving herself to school in her own Jeep, so we won't have to worry about her transportation anytime soon. But well, so you guys, thank you so much. This was a great first meeting, and I'm just, the amount of work you guys did to get prepared for this is awesome. So we will reconvene on February the 18th, and in the meantime, I put my address in the chat. Again, you can find that on the school board page, but in case you don't want to navigate there, I just put it right in the chat, stephanie.craybill2 at nhcs.net. So thank you for your time. And Brandon, you don't have any kids, do you? I can't leave you off either.
Not yet, not yet.
Okay.
We're gonna probably wait a couple of years.
Okay,
Just got
just
married a little over a year ago.
making sure that we don't have any parents that I missed. Because and Michael, I don't know if you have any kids either, but I didn't want to leave you guys off in all of your fun kidness. So, all righty. Well, you guys have a great weekend. And again, I'm always here and love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. See ya.